What's up everyone? George from Filmora, here to empower your inner video creator. So I've noticed this trend in the creator community to shoot in slow motion. Sure, you can do it with pretty much any camera, even your iPhone has this setting. But while slow motion is an awesome way to get dramatic effects, I've also noticed a lot of people misusing it. So I decided to make this video going over 5 do's and don'ts of shooting in slow motion so you can make this technique really work for you. Let's get into it. Number 1. Overcranking too much. So you probably know by now that the higher your frame rate, the slower your footage. So filmmakers tend to crank that frame rate too much to get it as slow as possible. But ultra slow motion is too much for most cases, and unnecessary. Just because you think you can speed it up in your editing doesn't mean it's gonna look the best. Number 2, not enough light. When you're shooting in slow motion, you're basically taking a bunch of pictures quickly, cranking up the frame rate with a faster shutter speed. As a result, light has less time to create an image in your camera. Many filmmakers forget about this and shoot slow motion only to find that their footage is underexposed. So make sure you have enough light available to avoid dark and gloomy shots. Number 3, light flickering. Lower quality lights, like some LED panels, have a tendency to flicker. To the naked eye, it's difficult to see, but when you slow it down, it makes the footage unusable. Be aware of the lighting condition you're in. What I suggest is to use some test footage first. Number 4, not adjusting your shutter speed. Many filmmakers, when adjusting their frame rate to 60 frames per second or 120 frames per second, forget to adjust their shutter speed. This will produce unusable footage because of something called the ghosting effect. The rule is that your shutter speed needs to be double that of your frame rate. So when filming at normal speed at 24 frames per second, your shutter speed is 1/50. Number 5, overusing slow motion. This one's so common, especially in cinematic shots. You've probably already seen this in lots of car commercials, food videos, travel videos, and most of it's shot in slow motion. Slow motion, when done properly, suspends time and gives viewers a distorted sense of reality. But too often, filmmakers will think everything needs to be in slow motion because it automatically makes their footage better. It doesn't. Number 1, a tripod or gimbal. Just because your shots are in slow motion and not as shaky doesn't mean you should neglect this support system. If your clips are extra long, the help of a gimbal or tripod will add that extra professionalism. Number 2, use music. When you record in slow motion, your audio is also recording in slow motion, so if you keep it on, it's going to be all warped and distorted. So when you shoot, keep in mind that in the edit, you're going to need some music track or voiceover. Number 3, testing footage. Shooting in slow motion requires a lot of memory space. Make sure to give yourself enough time to take test shots to check your lighting and focus. The worst thing that can happen is you assume everything is right, but in the end of the shot, you have light flickering. So what I suggest is you play back your test footage at 30 frames per second to make sure if anything's wrong. Number 4, speed editing. Let's say you shot in 120 frames per second. That doesn't mean your end result has to be in the same frame rate. If your clip is 10 seconds or longer, you can use your video editing software like Filmora to do speed ramping and take your slow footage and make it fast, making your shots way more epic. To do speed ramping in Filmora, double-click on the clip you want to speed up or slow down and change the speed slider up or down. If you don't have Filmora yet, you can try it free by clicking on the link in the description box below. But don't use this too much because it's only an estimate. Number 5, break the rules. When you shoot footage in general, you might use landscape mode because it's most suitable for YouTube or Vimeo. But experiment with vertical or portrait mode and share your videos on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. Most people are using mobile these days, so if you shoot with them in mind, they're gonna appreciate it. Thanks for watching everybody. Hope you found these tips useful for your next slow-mo shoot. Be sure to share your results with us and send your tutorial requests in the comments. Oh, and if you haven't done so already, please hit that sweet subscribe button down there. That's it from me. I'll see you next time. Ciao.